Come on, Lo. Oh, here we go. Come on, see you over. So, folks, we're getting ready to cross the Chickahominy River. And we're doing this on the bridge that is, I believe, like half to 3/4 of a mile. I call it the Chickahominy River Bridge, but I think the proper name is Drescher, Judith Drescher Bridge. Sorry for the mispronunciation, but it's actually a really cool bridge in the sense that what you can do is it's part of the trail, basically. Sorry, I'm just trying to find my best way to keep my antenna from getting in the way of the video here. So it's part of the trail, and it means that we can go in here uninhibited by the cars, trucks, trailers, whatever crosses the road. I'm always looking for grates, as I said, and so we've gone 8.37 miles as of right now. We're shooting for 15. Dogs are doing great. Look at them. They're just happy as a lark. I've got my drone pilot, as I mentioned. He's got the drone in the air. So when you see a sewer like that, you want to be careful there's not a grate close by. Now, what's really cool is this is a Saturday and there's like nobody here. I can't believe it. I've done this bridge before, and I want to just be certain that, again, those grates. I'm just neurotic about that stuff because they can come up on you in a minute. Now, I just worry about the dog's paws going through it. Probably wouldn't happen because usually the grates are big enough that this size dog won't fit through it. So, but it's cool because we can be right up against this wall here and not worry about a car coming over and hitting us, because cars do get so distracted that they, when they see what we're doing, not to toot my own horn, but it's just really cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, yeah, people, they beep you, and they know we're coming. I know they're coming, which is great. You can see how wide this is, and you can see how in spec my setup is, because it lets the dogs, it gives them the room they need, but it keeps me in a narrow footprint, so anybody can pass us at any given time, and we can pass them on most rail trails, actually. Okay, Meta, start recording. So, folks, we are on the Chickahominy River Bridge, otherwise known as the Judith Drescher, I'm probably not saying the name right, bridge, on the Virginia Capitol Trail near Jamestown, Virginia. At this point, we're about 7 miles or so from there. We've got roughly 8.5 miles in of a scheduled 15 miles or so. This bridge is one of the longest bridges we've ever crossed. Now, I've done this with these dogs last year, never able to get drone views. Today, I've got my drone. Coming towards you. Thanks, bud. It's just a bike rider. Roger that, just a bike rider. 10-4 on that. So my co-pilot just told me I have a bike rider coming at me. And again, if you didn't see it, someone just passed me here, no problem. But this is kind of awesome that I can technically mush this bridge over a pretty large river. And other people can pass me, and I can pass them. And the dogs can love it, we can love it, and it's just awesome. Good girls, good girls. Howdy. Thank you. So this is a little divot, I remember, where people can actually, if you get too much traffic up here, take a breather, whatever you might need to do. But this is how we do it, WooFDriver Land, folks. We're able to do this because of Dog Motorsports, because of the electric dog sled on wheels, and because of how I train the dogs. It's not hard to train them to do this. This is a pretty protected bridge, so they're not really getting views of what's below them or what's on the side of them, because the wall's pretty high. So that makes it all really doable and manageable for them. pretty breezy up here. So I haven't seen my drone, but I believe it's in the air. And hopefully you're watching some of the footage because I've edited into the video here. So some of these crossings where they seam the steel or the bridge, sometimes they can have little gaps, usually not big enough for paws to flip into, or at least for this size dogs. But I am always looking for that. And sometimes the dogs can see below them when they get a gap in there, and they get a little freaked, depending on the dog, the situation, how the lighting is, etc. But how awesome is this? I mean, it's like surreal. It's like I'm ready to tell someone, can you pinch me? It's so cool. Actually, I see the drone. No, I see a bird. The drone's kind of a bird. So again, to my left, we've got another divot where someone would come by and check it out. And we'll be able to rest and let others pass. There's the drone. So we're starting to come off the peak of the bridge, and again we got another seam here. Everything looks good. There is in the bridge. There's actually thank you. There's actually there was the grade I was talking about. So we're going downhill. So the dogs are picking up a little bit of a pace, and you can see even Lola's engaged on this. So freaking cool, folks. It's cold. Cold. I mean, not cold for the dogs, but remember, 0 degrees is not cold for the dogs. This is how we do it here in WooFDriver Land, folks. So we get a little fast for Lola, so I'm going to put the brakes on a little bit so I can see hers. Awesome, Scott, awesome. So Scott's really got a bird's eye view, and that's how he was able to tell me I had a rider coming at me. So the dogs are hearing the traffic over there. Nikita's starting to put her nose in the air, a little bit of air scenting, because she's wondering what's going on that side. She can't really see over it. It's like the perfect height to run the dogs here because it keeps them so sheltered and keeps them from freaking out. Get another seam in the bridge, all good. And this is Chickahominy River. Just getting ready to tell you I see you, brother.
Very cool.
I think we can make it till the end to Jamestown, my marker 0. Looks like we're about 7 miles.
All right, keep you updated.
10-4 will do. 10-4 will do. Thank you. So that's my wingman. He's in my van to the left of us. Just letting me know if we need any support. If I need to get my gloves, which I'm not going to do. If I need anything, he's there. We need to change a tire out. That's what he does. And he also drives us here. And he drops us off at one point and picks us up at another. So usually we don't have to backtrack. So we usually don't have to go out and back. We usually just go one way out. And that's it. He picks us up. And that keeps it the most exciting for the dogs because they don't smell their scent. And they don't know, hey, we've been here before. Just like I was talking about much earlier on the video, when we potty train dogs, and they smell their scent, they know they've been there, they're usually not as excited. So it's easier to take them to another place if you're having a tough time potty training and train them there because they're more likely to go to the bathroom. Good girls. So we're coming off the bridge right now. 6.6 miles still Jamestown. So we're about 2/3 through our journey, folks. So my co-pilot will be coming through here. So this is Chickahominy Riverfront, and we're going to see what this says. I'm going to move over to my left. Ho, ho, ho. Gee over. Gee over. Okay, let me just read this sign here, folks. This one, she's got to pee right there. Good girl, good girl. See, she got to some grass. Come on. Oh, guys. Now, I just want to change out my glasses that record and put on a new pair. Hey, she's gonna pee now. We got a lot of piers here, folks. Hey, guys. Well, I got cameras going off on me, but we'll have to work it out. Something going on with them.
Just keeping you posted. Just landed the drone. I'm on my way to you now.
10-4. I stopped right after the bridge to do a quick sign reading. Okay, Meta. Start recording. So, folks, we're on the Virginia Capitol Trail. We just crossed the Chickahominy River on the Judith Dresser, I'm sure I'm not saying that right, bridge to my right there. And we got a little bit of a historical sign we're going to read here. It's called Wa-in-Chapokni. I know I'm saying that wrong. Wa-in-Chapokni was the chief of the Pasva Indians when the English established Jamestown in the tribe's territory in 1607. He consistently resisted the English intrusion, earning both respect and hostility from the Jamestown leaders. Captured and imprisoned at Jamestown, he escaped, and the English retaliated by killing several Pasva men. After the English destroyed a Pasva town in August 1610 and executed Wa-in-Chapokni's wife and children, he continued to harass the English until he was killed in a skirmish near Jamestown in February 1611. In 1991, the archaeological remains of a large Pasva community near here were excavated. So sorry for saying the names wrong, but that's where we're at. Very, very interesting. And wow, many, many moons ago. Wow, incredible. This is the Virginia Capitol Trail, and we're getting ready to rock on, folks. That's how we do it here in WooFDriver land. Okay, girls. G over. G. So I got to get them rolling in the right direction. Good girls. Good girls. And we're on our way again. So we've got roughly 6.6 miles till the end of the trail, which will end at mile marker 0 at Jamestown. That is the trailhead on that side, and then it's 52 miles. We haven't gone for a full 52 miles today. We've done it in the past. In Richmond proper, I believe they call that. Maybe it's downtown Richmond, I don't know, but somewhere along those lines. And that's how we do it, folks. So we've got more interested people to my right. And we've been on this trail for, I'm trying to think how, I'll get my reading from my ear soon. Let's see this.
Rider coming up behind you, Bill. I repeat, rider coming up behind you.
10-4, thank you. 10-4, thank you. So again, that just makes it so nice. Having the co-pilot let me know what's coming on around me, going on. Thank you. Can't tell you how good the dogs are doing, folks. It's just absolutely awesome. So I think as we get closer to Jamestown, we'll get a little more scenic. Just my phone here a little bit. And we've got another bike rider coming at us, so I'll handle that accordingly. The trail seems a little wider here. Have a great day. And we are in the sun, which feels good to me. I'm sure it's a little warm for the dog. So excellent. How'd that work out? Was it?
The sun was in the right place and everything. It was fantastic.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks so much again. Thanks so much again. So the bridge was really cool. Dogs did great on it, most importantly. And I was a little cold up there, some crosswinds. I was feeling a little better in the sun, but we still got some mileage to put on, so we're gonna rock and roll here and keep dogs going. So a little bit of a hill climb here, which is all good when you're dealing with dog motorsports again, folks. Got the motor in action. I've used a fair amount of motor today, not a ton, but a fair amount. Okay, Meta, start recording. So, folks, crossing a pretty big road here, the one we've been paralleling all the way. Good girls, hike, and my co-pilot's making sure I get across safe. Come on, good girls. Good girls. And that's how we do it to keep us as safe as possible. Good job, Scott. Good job, bud. Haul over. Good girls. They want to explore in the grass. So the grass is more porous, obviously, than the asphalt, and it holds the scents of other animals that have run through here in the area, etc. So that's always more exciting for them. That's why it's a little more motivational to run them on the grass, dirt, etc. But the bike rolls easier on the asphalt, as you can imagine, and it's all good for them, though, either way. See you at the next one, brother. So that was my van that just passed us on my left.
We're good.
Said, see you at the next stop, man.
Good boy.
That was my van that just passed us. If you don't know, so I've got a wingman and a co-pilot. Sometimes I bring more people depending on the situation. We travel the East Coast of the USA. They follow me. So my co-pilot is on the trail with me. Sometimes if I'm using a tandem bike, a tandem electric dog sled on wheels, he'll be in the actual bike with me to direct me. He films, he directs, he assists with the dogs, with watering. He lets me know if there's people I need to know about coming at us or going away from us, passing us, etc. And he also will fly the drone. So we got a lot of different details. My wingman is responsible for fixing all the equipment, making sure it's all running. If we need batteries for the bikes, he's got them charging in the van. If we need extras, we get a flat tire, he'll meet us and change the tire. If we get a down bike, he'll swap it out with another bike we might have in the van. And he drops us off at one location and he picks us up in another. So we usually don't retrace our steps. It keeps the dogs more motivated. So we'll go from one end of the trail to the other, and that's where he meets us. That keeps the dogs more motivated. They're not smelling their scent again. It's always fresh and exciting for them, and kind of fun for us like that. That's how we do it here in WooFDriver land. Good girls. Good girls. So, folks, we're about to pass a jogger. And it's always fun passing people because they've never seen anything like this before, most of them, and they're just like, holy cow. Usually love it, puts a smile on their face, of course, as you've seen throughout this video. Not so much her, though. You look like she had a frown on her face, maybe. I don't know. Well, some people get into really what they're doing, of course, and they ain't got time to play around with the WooFDriver. But we're happy-go-lucky with everybody we see and everybody we meet, and happy to just be here. So really, got the forest on both sides. The view hasn't changed much here. It was exciting going over the Chickahominy River Bridge, but you know, it's a lot of... Jamestown will be cool because it's so historic, and it's a town, and you see people. Oh, excuse me. But, it's all about getting the dogs out. So sometimes, you know, when you're on some of these trails, some of these nature trails, you see some really cool animals and beautiful waterfalls and sights. You're not going to get that here per se, but it's a different kind of mushing and different kind of adventuring. When last time we were here, we went past the Chickahominy courthouse, I believe it was called, and some other different historical aspects. That is cool, the historical aspects. This is probably the most storied trail, at least the most well-kept or historical markers that I've been on. So there's plenty, and I've stopped to read most of them along the way. And I've been doing that throughout the trail. I'm getting a reading in my ear. So we got 10 1/4 miles, 2 hours and 40 minutes. Remember, that's a little bit off because I started like 15 minutes. Excuse me, before we go. I'm putting myself to sleep, aren't I? I might tell the dogs, just wait me when we get there. Just bark or something. Let me know we're there. Right? Definitely getting chillier. My, as you saw, my wingman passed us a few times. I could have grabbed some extra clothes, but I didn't. I figure I'll tough it out. Trying to finish in daylight, which we will. We're only, my calculations are correct. We're going to pass the 5-mile marker, I believe, somewhere up here, and we're at, hey Siri, what time is it? Hey Meta, what time is it?
It's 3:20 p.m.
Thank you. So it's 3:20. We should be done by 4:30, I'm thinking. Probably 5 o'clock. So it gets dark around 5:30, even 5:45 now, because we're getting further past the winter solstice. Every day gets a couple minutes longer. Like that. Like it, but we know it's on the other end, the summer, and it gets hot sometimes for the dogs. So we can't always adventure the way we want, but with the electric dog sled on wheels and dog motorsports, we can adventure more, and that's been able to be my mode of operandi for almost 30 years now. Can you believe that? And from infrared goggles, night vision, to bright LED lights now. I've been able to get them out at night when it's too warm during the day. Sometimes night can be too warm too, but I've been get a lot more opportunities at night in the warmer months. And I think we're coming up on a mile marker a little further ahead there. Same road. I forget what road this is. This trail crosses it a few times. I mean, I must admit, for, this area, having a 50-some-mile road is good. Oh, I didn't know you were behind me.
Off in the woods out left, getting a pretty cool side shot of the super zoom.
Love it, man. You're always thinking. My co-pilot's always thinking of different ways to film what we're doing, and I just absolutely love it. Dogs are running really good. I mean, when I say running, they're working really good. They're moving at a steady pace, 3.5, 4.5 miles per hour, and clocking 15 miles is good. We're probably closing in, like I said, it was 10.25 we just went through, so we're working the trail. I remember on this trail that there's an area we're coming up on where we saw this massive herd of deer, probably the biggest herd I've ever seen, and we did get that on drone. My co-pilot at the time, I was using my drone cart, I call it, where he was connected to me with a specialized trailer, and he was sitting in the back droning. As the dogs were in the front, pulling to the extent they could, because it was a little more weight, but of course using the Dog Motorsports motor. 5 miles right there, folks. That's what remains till we get to mile marker 0, which will be in Jamestown. Exciting stuff for sure. Comes a rider. Good, how are you? Have a great day. Nice guy. Some of these people I've seen, I don't remember them all on the way back, on their way out. And some kind of, I don't know, electric box that's missing a cover. They taped up. So we got a little better than 10.5 miles right now, folks. So about 15 miles is our pickup point. I tell you what, the WooFDriver's getting hungry watching the dogs work. Sounds bad, doesn't it? But, the dogs will get. I feed my dogs a raw diet consisting of many proteins. I mean, we do things as exotic as emu to as basic as beef and everything in between. I would say about a third of it's fish. From mackerel to salmon to whitefish and to sardines even. That's usually part of, these are commercially available diets. I used to actually barf them myself. Sounds real good, doesn't it? Bones and raw food. So people that barf them, that means they prepare their own meals for them from bones and raw food. And the challenges of that are knowing you have a diet that is whole, basically. You have all the ingredients that make it a complete diet for them, because there's some ingredients they get from other sources, or their ancestors would have got from other sources, vitamins, etc. So it's important to give them the most complete diet you can. And people that will do the barf diet work on that, and it can be quite challenging, but people do it. I've done it myself for many years, back in the early days of WooFDriver, going back 25, 27. I've been doing this for 30 years, so I didn't start barfing them right away, so probably 25, 27 years ago. And it was pretty challenging for me, and it made a huge mess. So at that time, I think at least I found one company that made, the company I learned from, actually, I read I think his name was Dr. Ian Billinghurst. and he had a book a friend of mine, my master dog trainer's wife, gave to me to read, and it was all about bones and raw food. And then I believe he started his business or a partner or something, and they actually made a diet for people like me that didn't want to make it but wanted to buy it, wanted what they think are the benefits from it. So I was after I was successful doing his. I mean, my dogs, were healthier for, I believe, healthier. At least I didn't have any issues or anything from the diet. And there was no shortcomings that we could find any deficiencies or anything like zinc deficiencies, fairly common in Huskies. Everything seemed to be working perfectly. So the reason, again, I got out of doing that was because it was challenging. It was making a total mess. My wife was not happy about it. And I found they were selling a commercially available diet with pretty much all of these benefits, just wasn't quite as fresh. It was frozen. And I got that. Good girls. I went past the Ballard. I always tell them good girls. If, she looked at sniffing it and she didn't. So I thanked her for it basically by telling her good girl. That was Cyan actually. So I got some of this food, this barf diet food, and they had chicken, beef, and turkey, I believe. So, and they had it in different textures, basically, different ways. They had it from basically nuggets to patties, to like almost like a hamburger patty, if you will. But again, these were complete diets. They had vegetables in them, and they were biologically appropriate, available for the dogs. Like they say, when we would barf them, certain veggies have to be, or the vegetable diet you're feeding them as part of the barf diet has to be ready for them to be able to absorb in their body. And because they would do that, or their ancestors would do that, their bodies were built to do that through like the guts of something. So the guts of a deer, they would get their vegetables from. And this is what the diet teaches you or tells you. And therefore, you would have to put the vegetables like that, fruits, vegetables, in that. So we got 11 miles in, folks. You have to put the vegetables in that capacity, for lack of a better description, for them to be able to absorb them properly. So that would mean running them through a juicer and feeding them the pulp. Sounds weird, doesn't it? But that's what would make the real mess. And then mix it in the meats or however you wanted to feed it. And it was really interesting, and it worked really well. I mean, like I said, had no issues with it. But this barf diet that became commercially available that was frozen had all those vegetables prepared that way, and fruits, etc., and vitamins, whatever, would make the complete diet. So that worked. I started getting that, and my dogs loved it, and it worked really well for many years, many years. Finally, I still use that same formula. I mean, I barf the dogs, but I use other brands now because so many have become available, and because of the ones that I was getting from the barf company, it's actually called Barf World, they were discontinuing their nuggets just because the shipping, sometimes they would ship them, not their fault, just, things happen, FedEx, UPS, whatever. The shipping would create the problem. The shipper, either they got delayed and it's shipped frozen, so it's dry ice. But sometimes it would be delayed so long that you would get the product and it would be melted. You can't use it if it's melted. I mean, once it's not frozen, it's got to be fed to right away, the dogs. I actually feed it to my dogs frozen. It helps slow them down in eating it, and Huskies love anything cold, so they appreciate it. I've been doing it for years. My Chinese Crested, we feed the same diet to. She likes it, and she wants it frozen too. So I don't know if she's just trying to be like a Husky or something about she likes chewing, but good for their teeth as well. So the proteins I use are, like I said, off the chart. Now that I had to go away from my beloved Barf that I was buying because I had really good experience with them. But I've researched it pretty well. I mean, it's really well. And I've come up with some brands, but because of just, nothing's ever guaranteed in life. 1 week red wine's good for you, the next week it's not. 1 week red meat's good for you, the next week it's not. So who the heck really knows? But we can only go by what we have presented in front of us. But I'll use a few different brands and rotate them. That way, one brand does this, one brand does this. I feel like I'm getting the best of all worlds, and I'm not sitting too deeply with one brand. And if something they have wasn't the best thought out or doesn't perform the best as expected, I'm not in that brand too much. I'm mixed with other brands. So, and what I mean by that, some brands will have synthetic vitamins in them for the dogs, and there's at least one brand I know of that has all natural. So some dogs, like I was telling you about absorbing the different nutrients, some dogs are not able to absorb the synthetic, and so it's not of any benefit to them. And with it being the natural ones, where they're all natural vitamins, are not synthetic, I believe most dogs can absorb them. But I don't want to go to just that brand that does that, or at least that's available in my area that does that, because there's other factors, like, for instance, one brand I use has goat milk in it. So, I mean, that's good for the dogs too. I could add goat milk, but so there's probably a lot of nuances that are different amongst these different brands. I mean, I don't know if nuances is the right word, but probably a lot of different aspects that may benefit some dogs differently. And by me getting them all, and without doing major studies on the dogs that I don't even know if they're capable of doing, I can rotate the different brands and go from there. And I've been doing that for a few years now. It's been working well for me. It also, with the different proteins, keeps them really excited, because they never know what they're going to get fed. I mean, I've got a schedule, but, from one day to the next, they might have beef, they might have chicken, they might have turkey, they might have pork, they might have sardine. Like I said, turkey and sardine is the mix. They might have turkey, they might have duck. I mean, there's a ton of different proteins. So we've got people coming to my left, and I'm blabbing away. I'm good at talking, I told you that. So the dogs are, I was using a little motor there, but they're taking over. They get excited because they see people. I got a log here I have to balance. Howdy. How are you? Have a great day. So they were not too talkative there. But again, everyone's doing their own shtick out, their own shtick, I call it, out here. So it's all good. I like it when people talk and we can hear some different conversations, get some different reactions. So, whoa, sorry guys. So it smells like one of the dogs might be going to the bathroom. Some dogs learn to do it on the run. India is one of them. I've had other dogs that do also, because keep in mind, sled dogs learn to relieve themselves on the run, because chances are the musher's not going to see the dog has to go, and it's not going to stop the whole dog team for one dog when you're running, 15, 20 dogs, etc. So therefore, they will learn to go on the run. Nothing wrong with it. And the only thing with me is I want to make sure I see it to pick it up. And I haven't seen anything, but because I apply by all the rules and regulations of the trail, because I want to always be welcome back, and I don't want to impede anybody else's experience. So you got some of my explanation of how I feed and everything about that. So the only bad thing per se is if I could see if a dog has a negative reaction to any of the foods, but over time I wouldn't know which food was maybe benefiting or not benefiting. I have to do a little more research into it, but it's not a reason not to do it, because The cool thing is, though, that the dog gets such a solid stomach. They can take almost any food when you mix it like that. Because usually when you change them from brand to brand or protein to protein, you need to do it over a course of time. And I'm just doing it daily. Easy, girls. Good girls. Come on. Come on. Come on, girls. Easy, girls. Cool. We're trucking right along, Scott. 4 miles left, dude. We're at 11 and a half. Cool. So we'll be at 15-ish. A little more, maybe. Yes, sir. That's good, man. Like the way you're doing it, brother. Like it, like it, like it. You remember this trail, don't you?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah, man. I figured as much. So, mile marker 4. So I don't know if you caught that, and I didn't say it, but when there was a little bit of a dip, and because the way physics works, this bar is cantilevered, so the dogs have no weight on them. Therefore, it can go downwards. There's nothing holding it up except the frame, if that makes sense. So it could essentially touch the ground, but we thought about that. If it touches the ground, it's going to come down on the dogs. Now, there's not a lot of weight to this bar, and it's got some support behind it, but I still don't want it touching them if I can avoid it. And we've come up with a way to do that by extending these U-bars down low, and what that does is that'll come in contact with the ground before the upper bar will touch the dog, essentially. And at least on what the hills were exposed to, I think it would on anything. It's got to. But I mean, there's always a part of physics that I'm not a physicist. I guess is the right word, right? But I'm not a physics major either. But it's working perfectly, and we've been on some really steep inclines. So it's really interesting, and it can get close to the dogs, but it's usually a couple inches off. See, all dogs are different heights. I'm talking to my tallest dogs it could be close to. But again, the foam helps with that if there was any. There's never any pressure. So we just crossed 11.63 miles, folks, and I know that from the whisper in my ear. But that's how we do it. I mean, it's always about the safety, and I'm studying this, and I'm also every step of every step we take here is being studied and evaluated to the nth degree through all the cameras I have, through my eyes, through other people that go with me. When I run new equipment, I'll usually have my main man, Crispy, and usually the old wise man, Jimmy, riding in a bike next to me so they can see what's going on with the equipment, how it's performing with the dogs, and how it's riding, basically, and how the dogs are taken to it. That way, we know if we need to make adjustments. We know any bad downfalls, any good aspects of it. Get a really good, basically a hands-on evaluation. And these guys know what I do. So, and they know they don't know my knowledge, but they know they've been taught by me about the dogs. So they're able to really evaluate it in a way that others wouldn't be able to that don't have any knowledge of this. So that's why my equipment's been so incredible. And I've had nothing but the best experiences. I mean, everything we built hasn't been perfect, but we've adjusted it. And the main aspect of everything is the dog's safety, and we've lived up to that. So I'm going to do a quick video here. So, folks, we are approaching Jamestown and Williamsburg, real historical areas in the USA. And we're on the Virginia Capitol Trail. We've had such a wonderful day out here. Temperatures have been cool enough for the dogs and kind of warm for us humans, at least coming out of the polar vortex. Now, it's never cold enough for the dogs. Remember, the dogs, 0 degrees isn't cold for the Huskies, so it's never truly cold enough for them, but at least cool enough that they can do what we're doing here with dog moto sports. We've gone through, we've read a lot of historical markers along the way. We've crossed the Chickahominy River Bridge, which is really a cool bridge. It's known as, its real name is the Judith Dresser Bridge, I believe, and something like a half to 3/4 of a mile long. So that was neat, and we got some drone footage of that. And overall, it's been great. I've been trying to do a kind of a full-length video of this whole ride, this whole mush, if you will. We're right now into it about 3 hours, roughly 12 miles, and we've loved every minute of it. I hope to share that soon. So that's how we do it here in WooFDriver land, folks. So that's just from if you see the reels on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok videos and YouTube shorts and Twitter videos I post, that's where it all comes from, and you're behind the scenes a little bit with me now. But this is just absolutely fantastic. So I'll probably give the dogs some more water roughly at mile marker 3, which is probably another half to 3/4 of a mile from here. When I see those signs like Jamestown, Williamsburg, and I'm on the trail with the dogs, it's just cool to me. It's just so much history there. I learned so much about those areas in school, and I'm experiencing with them with my dogs. It's just nothing like it. With my husky family. Howdy again. So he wasn't too talkative, but he did give me a good smile, so I know he was liking it. Nah. All good. All good in the WooFDriver world. So we've been on this trail at night, actually, and that's a little challenging sometimes, but challenging in the sense, it's a nice open trail, but not knowing the area wherever you're out at night, it's always a challenge. I'm getting another reading in my ear, folks. 3 hours and 10 minutes. 11.98 miles to 12 miles, essentially, and 3 hours, a little less, because remember I started that meter early, just for more accurate readings. I'm going into the more detail. So the dogs have picked up a pace here. My hand is off the throttle. Look, no hands, and it's all them now, and it's getting cooler out now, so they can take it away if they want. But I think that was just short-lived, because I think the wind blew, and like I said, when they see a blade of grass move, they usually will air scent, further investigate, and see if it's something they want to play with, something they want to chase, or something they want to do something to. And when they determine that it's not, they're like, okay, I'm done. Give me some other entertainment. So many people get huskies and just don't understand them. And it's all good. I got my first husky. I knew nothing about nothing. But I was interested enough and really curious about what would make him happy, because I wanted him to be the happiest dog ever. So, by the way, this road next to us is the John Tyler Highway we've been going through, and this is Governor's Landing. I don't know what the heck that means, but I don't think the governor of Virginia is here, but that would be Glenn Youngkin. I don't think he's here. Maybe, I don't know if it's in Richmond. I don't know where the capital of Virginia is. So I'm just showing you what I didn't learn in history. But so huskies, I want them to be as happy as possible. So I was researching, and back then there wasn't the internet, or at least an internet that I had access to. So I had to rely on other methods to find what really makes the huskies happy, make my husky happy. And that's how I discovered biking with the dogs, basically. And that's what this has evolved into. So people will get Huskies because they're so cute as puppies, and they got that wolf-like resemblance, and they're like a ball of fur. How could you not think they're cute? So they get them, and they get them home. I did the same scenario, and then it's like, well, wait a minute, this thing's so cute, but as they get a little bit older, get into their adolescence, then they're like a lot of energy, and like, my Husky keeps breaking out of the home, runs away, won't listen to me, chews on things he shouldn't, does things he shouldn't. Howdy, howdy. And people say, well, what can I do? And some people just get no answer, and they will, I don't know how, but they'll abandon or surrender them. And that becomes a huge problem. I understand there's some situations maybe you would need to rehome a dog. I understand that, but, it's not like you got a child. You're not going to do that to a child. So my Huskies are my children, but my dogs are. But I'm not judging anybody or saying anything. I mean, there's situations that evolve. That might need to think outside the box, whatever, rehoming in some way. But what I like to do, because people, I understand they get at wit's end because they can't seem to make their life work with their dog. But what I'm doing here is an answer, and you don't have to be near as elaborate as me or as eccentric as me, of course, because I started off with just a bike and one dog, and it's perfect. It was an electric bike. Electric was rare back then, but even in 95, 96, howdy, I was able to get an electric bike, or within those years, and I could pedal too, and I mean, my first bike, I've had many bikes that were pedal, but I think I even started with the electric. I know by like 97, 98, I had electric because I just couldn't keep up with the dog. How fast he wanted to go and what he wanted to do. Dogs are all running great. So Lola's a little bit angled, but she'll straighten out. Going over this bridge, and these wood bridges, they don't mind at all. These are new, so there's not big gaps between the planks, which would let them see below, and sometimes, as I mentioned, freak some dogs out. They're not like that. They're really well maintained. Little stream below us and a wooded area. Howdy, howdy. Very, very good. We should be coming up on the 3-mile marker where I will water the dogs. Got to change some batteries and some of the cameras and keep rolling, folks. Remember, I like to document almost everything I can. You see, I'm always cognizant of my dogs. Inyo looked to the side when the motorcycle went by to the left, or a loud car, I believe it was a motorcycle. So we bounced a little, and that again is the design of my equipment here, to have some bounce to it so it's not too rigid. So it gives some, but not enough to cause any issues. So there's some residences along here, which means there's probably some driveways that pass through here, and could be other dogs. People have dogs. Now, most people that live along trails realize there's other trail users who usually have a good containment system for their dog. Thought I heard a dog barking. So see, sewer hole there. Not a grate, what I was talking about earlier, but I picked right up on that. Probably less likely to have grates on the trail because it can mess with bike tires too. It can mess with bike tires. So, and people do walk their dogs here, obviously. So that's why we saw one when we were on the big bridge, on the bridge itself, and not on the pedestrian side. We were getting the water off that way. So we're crossing mile marker 3. Easy, girls. Easy, easy, easy. You know what? Okay, that's a fire hydrant. Oh, guys. You know what? Yeah, this is fine. I was going to go the other side, but if someone passes me, they'll be able to pass there. I wanted to just be in front of the mile markers. Always fun. Give them a little bit of water here. Okay, my best girls. Everybody looks good. So, excuse me while I do some housekeeping here. Take care of some of these cameras. I heard Inya move her bowl there. And those of you that don't know, so we've got batteries. We've got a full and an empty. So full, just like you think it might mean, means charged. And the empty means uncharged. Means I gotta charge them. So, whoop, that shot out at me. Let me grab that before I forget. And right into the water. Okay. So that's an empty battery, folks. And I just put that right into the empty slot. And I know when I get home, just stop in the water. I'm good. Scott doesn't see me. He might be concerned. So I need to see how that book. What do I do here? That battery doesn't look like it's charged. So I'm going to put that one on the empty because I didn't get any response from that. And we'll see if we can get this one working. You got to wear many hats here, folks. But this is giving the dogs a nice long break. Yep, that one's working. Okay, so I changed one. And remember, these cameras give us all the different views because these are 360s. So they're really, they can get some incredible perspectives. That one's there. I always put it upside down. And that one's live too. So it's just two I had to change there. This back here. Getting more empties than I got charged. That means we did a lot of filming. Actually, I don't have to charge these every trip. Usually every couple trips I carry a lot of batteries with me, depending on what we've done. So I'm going to do a little bit, I'm going to do a little bit of a video here. So folks, Virginia Capitol Trail, as you see, we are at mile marker 3. And, excuse me, whoa, didn't like that. Taking a beating.